So, have you ever felt or known in your heart that an assignment was definitely from God? But then, as you're carrying out this assignment, everything seems to be opposing it. So, yes, we don't fight against flesh and blood in the physical realm. But what do you do when everything in the physical realm is fighting against you? So, hi guys, welcome to Cat's Christian Life. If you are new to my channel, please do hit the subscribe button and hit that thumbs up as well. And let me know in the comments what you think of my channel, what else you would like to discuss. And I thank you just for tapping in. So, if you well, a little bit about the channel is that I do Jesus Journey Messages, which is this playlist that I will show up here. And so, what happens in this playlist is we discuss certain topics about Christ-based topics. We look through the Bible, we look at different things that we're going through in life, and we just link them to something in the Bible, right? So if you want to talk about anything, please do put it in the comments. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting my channel, and please do make sure you have your notifications on so you know when a new video pops up. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about those assignments that you have where you just are fighting back and forth and you're like, am I supposed to be doing this? Because everything seems to be opposing this assignment. Whenever you start up, something seems to go wrong, and it seems like something is just actually trying to stop you. And you might even start to question, is this really an assignment from God or is it a distraction? And so let's talk about it. Some assignments can be seriously hard, but how do we know the difference? So we're going to be looking at Ezra 3 to 4. So this is going to be like a Bible study session. We're going to read chapter 3 and 4, and then I will get into the points. Okay, so Ezra 3, rebuilding the altar. It says, when the seventh month came and the Israelites had settled in their towns, the people assembled together as one in Jerusalem. Then Joshua the son of Jozadak and his fellow priests, and Zerubbabel son of Shealtiel and his associates began to build the altar of God of Israel to sacrifice burnt offerings on it, in accordance with what was written in the law of Moses the man of God. Despite the fear of the peoples around them, they built the altar on its foundation and sacrificed burnt offerings on it to the Lord, both the morning and evening sacrifices. Then, in accordance with what was written, they celebrated the festival of tabernacles with the required number of burnt offerings prescribed for each day. After that, they presented the regular burnt offerings, the moon sacrifices, the sacrifices for all the appointed sacred festivals of the Lord, as well as those brought as free will offerings to the Lord. On the first day of the seventh month, they began to offer burnt offerings to the Lord, though the foundation of the Lord's temple had not yet been laid. So they gave money to the masons and carpenters, and gave food and drink and olive oil to the people of Sidon and Tyre, so that they would bring cedar logs by sea from Lebanon to Joppa, as authorized by Cyrus, king of Persia. In the second month of the second year after their arrival at the house of God in Jerusalem, Zerubbabel son of Shealtiel, Joshua son of Jozadak, and the rest of the people, the priests and the Levites, and all who had returned from the captivity of Jerusalem, began the work. They appointed Levites 20 years old and older to supervise the building of the house of the Lord. Joshua and his sons and brothers, and Kadmiel and his sons, descendants of Hodaviah, and the sons of Henadad and their sons and brothers, all Levites, joined together in the supervising those working on the house of God. When the builders laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord, the priests in their vestments and with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals, took their places to praise the Lord as prescribed by David, king of Israel. With praise and thanksgiving, they sang to the Lord. He is good, his love towards Israel endures forever. And all the people gave a great shout of praise to the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid. But many of the older priests and Levites and family heads who had seen the former temple wept aloud when they saw the foundation of this temple being laid, while many others shouted for joy. No one could distinguish the sound of the shouts of joy from the sound of weeping because the people made so much noise and the sound was heard far away. So then Ezra 4. When the enemies of Judah and Benjamin heard the exiles were building a temple for the Lord, the God of Israel, they came to Zerubbabel and to the heads of the families and said, "Let us help you build, because like you we seek your God and have been sacrificing to him since the time of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, who brought us here." But Zerubbabel, Joshua, and the rest of the heads of the family of Israel answered, "You have no part with us in building a temple to our God. We alone will build it for the Lord, the God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, commanded us." Then the people around them set out to discourage the people of Judah and make them afraid to go on building. They bribed officials to work against them and frustrate their plans during the entire reign of Cyrus, king of Persia, and down to the reign of Darius, king of Persia. At the beginning of the reign of Xerxes, they lodged an accusation against the people of Judah and Jerusalem. And in the days of Artaxerxes, king of Persia, Bishlam, Mithridates, Tabeel, and the rest of his associates wrote a letter to Artaxerxes. The letter was written in Aramaic script and in the Aramaic language. Rehum, the commanding officer, and Shimshai, the secretary, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, the king, as follows. Rehum, the commanding officer, and Shimshai, the secretary, together with the rest of their associates, the judges, officials, and administrators over the people of Persia, Uruk, and Babylon, the Elamites of Susa, and the other people whom the great and honorable Ashurbanipal deported and settled in the city of Samaria and elsewhere in the Trans-Euphrates. This is a copy of the letter they sent him. So to Artaxerxes, from your servants in Trans-Euphrates, the king should know that the people who came up to us from you have gone to Jerusalem and are rebuilding that rebellious and wicked city. They are restoring the walls and repairing the foundations. Furthermore, the king should know that if the city is built and its walls are restored, no more taxes, tribute, or duty will be paid, and eventually the royal revenues will suffer. Now, since we are under obligation to the palace and it is not proper for us to see the king dishonored, we are sending this message to inform the king, so that a search may be made in the archives of your predecessors. In these records, you will find that the city is a rebellious city, troublesome to kings and provinces, a place with a long history of sedition. That is why the city was destroyed. We inform the king that if the city is built and its walls are restored, he will be left with nothing in Trans-Euphrates. The king then sent this reply to Rehum, the commanding officer, Shimshai, the secretary, and the rest of the associates living in Samaria and elsewhere in the Trans-Euphrates. Greetings. The letter you sent us has been read and translated in my presence. I issued an order and a search was made and was found that the city has a long history of revolt against kings and has been a place of rebellion and sedition. Jerusalem has had powerful kings ruling over the whole of Trans-Euphrates, and taxes, tribute, and duty were paid to them. Now issue an order to these men to stop working, so that the city will not be rebuilt until I so order. Be careful not to neglect this matter. Why let this threat grow to the detriment of the royal interest? As soon as the copy of the letter of King Artaxerxes was read to Rehum and Shimshai, the secretary and the associates, they went immediately to the Jews in Jerusalem and compelled them by force to stop. Thus, the work of the house of God in Jerusalem came to a standstill until the second year of the reign of Darius, the king of Persia. Okay, so in the story we have just reviewed, Ezra 5 and 6, we see that there were Israelites who were exiled, who are now allowed to go back home to rebuild the temple of the Lord. as they are building and just starting to celebrate this beautiful building that they are making and the foundation they have just laid, their brothers and sisters come to basically sabotage them. Other towns do not like the fact that they are rebuilding the temple, but they come and at first they like, let's help, we want to help rebuild this, we are working with you. But then the moment they say no, these people turn back and try to actually sabotage them. They are paying people, bribing others to sabotage the building of the temple. And so we're going to go through 3 points that tells us kind of what to do in a situation where you have this assignment and you have to carry it out, but there are things that are fighting against it that are making it very hard to believe that this is your purpose and to even continue with it. There are people who are being paid, who are working hard to work against you and against what you want to do, right? So, the first point is that your assignment does not have to be a secret. If you are hiding something that you're doing out of fear, you must know that fear is not something of God, and so that is not the way to go about it. So, yes, people don't have to know everything about your life. You don't have to post stuff. You don't have to let everyone know for no reason. It's okay to let just a few people who are close to you know about the things you are doing, things that you would like to achieve. And many a times it's nicer to, keep a goal to yourself and until you've like actually started with the goal, to make sure that you actually start up with it, right? Because if you tell someone and it's out, you might not start up. Some people do have that issue. So it is nice to keep it to yourself for a bit, but not to hide stuff as a secret out of fear of what other people might do to this project. You can't have your project baby and you're just protecting it so much out of fear. That is not the way to go about it. So, what you're doing in your assignment, whether other people are going to like it or not, does not have to be this top secret. Yes, do keep things to yourself. Yes, let your life be your private life, right? Especially if you're doing something you think might be sensitive, but don't cover things out of fear. And then point number two. So do not celebrate quietly. Your testimony might help someone else. Your testimony will testify God's great power in your life and will glorify God, right? Making sure that God is in your assignment, even when you talk about it, is the best way to spread the gospel, spread the word. It's always a nice way to just shine that light and touch other people's lives by showing them how much more God can do, right? And so, in the same way, your suffering should not be quiet either. If you have a community of friends, family, your church, you should also go to them in times of trouble. You can't just come to celebrate and to be happy, but then you do not come when things are difficult. It is okay for you to be in a space where things are difficult and you are having a hard time, you know, putting things together. It's okay because that doesn't mean that you're weak. Everyone goes through hard times. And so, in a way, showing that being vulnerable and showing that side of yourself to other people can also be a way of testifying about God's glory, right? That He's still holding you up while you're in a tough space, especially in this world where people try to like shield themselves. They put up a facade when they're feeling, sad or they're going through something. We can't just celebrate together and not cry together, right? It's really dangerous to be in a space where you have closed yourself up because you think that other people will be uncomfortable because of your situation or you'll feel embarrassed, right? It's a good thing and a great way of testifying God's glory when you are vulnerable with the people around you and when you are able to celebrate with them as well. And then the last point will be that your help is from Christ. So if you can just take it back to the story of Moses. So God was talking to Moses and was like, I want you to go and speak to Pharaoh. Then Moses was talking to God and said that he's not a great speaker. But then God said, who do you think brings speech out of people? Who made your tongue? Who made your mouth? But Moses continues to ask God for him to actually have help. And so Aaron comes in. But then we see when Moses has gone up to the mountain that Aaron has been put up in a high space with the people. And so when Aaron has gone up, I mean, when Moses has gone up to the mountain to go speak to God, Aaron was left down there, and the people ended up going to Aaron. Aaron then was helping them make these little gold lamps, which they were not supposed to do at all. And so he got help in his mission, but then things didn't go the way that they were meant to. The mission was specifically given to Moses, right? So when you have a mission and you know that is the time for you to be doing that mission alone, you must make sure that you don't allow other help to get in. Sometimes when you have a big job, it's nice to think that you can break it up into pieces. When other people come offering help, then you just so ready to take it. But if you know that it is supposed to be your mission alone, then you must know that your only help will come from God. And if you do feel like your assignment is big for you to carry, then you must ask God for people that can come and people who are trustworthy, who God will know that they are also able to help in this mission. You must ask Him to help you find people like that. And if the answer is no, then you're just going to have to do it on your own. When the other people came from the other towns, they were asking the Israelites, oh, let's help, let's help. They always had the intention to harm the project. They didn't just harm the project because their help was denied. They always had that idea, they always had that intention. And so if they had just accepted help, because it's easy to get help, and when you have more people, things happen faster. But if things are not happening the way that they are meant to, then the thing will not actually come up successful. So don't just accept any help, right? So then, yeah, let's look at what happened in the end. Was this mission from God? So in Ezra 6:13 to 14, it says, then because of the decree King Darius had sent, Tattenai, governor of Trans-Euphrates, and Shethar-bozenai and their associates carried it out with diligence. So the elders of the Jews continued to build and prosper under the preaching of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah, a descendant of Iddo. They finished building the temple according to the command of the God of Israel and the decrees of Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes, king of Persia. So it took them a long time to finish this temple that they were building, to finish this assignment and this project they were given, because of the other things that came in, the other struggles, the other fightings, the people who came to come, harm the building, to come bribe other people to harm this building and to stop the building of this temple. But then eventually, when the decree was found that they were actually allowed to go and build this temple, they were actually allowed out of exile to go and build that temple, then it was made for them, there was provision made for them to actually finish building the temple. And so if you have an assignment, if you know in your heart that it is from God, even when there are struggles coming from the sides, don't just stop because you are scared of what other people are going to do, of what other harms may come, other people are fighting you. If you know that this is what you're meant to be doing and you can feel that in your heart, continue with your project. At a point, yes, there might be pauses due to some dangers, there might be pauses due to bribes and sabotaging, but when it actually comes for time to be building, make sure that you are consistent with that assignment so that you can reach the end. Don't let the voice inside make you think that because it's dangerous, because there are threats to it, it's not of God. There will be tests and trials in all situations, even the assignments that are from God, right? In saying that, also, do not be blind to these threats and these tests that come with the assignments we have. Sometimes your assignment may be something big that starts with something small. So for example, if you have a situation where you're someone who likes to draw, likes to be creative, likes to content create, and you find yourself not growing enough, or you're not able to be creative as you were when you were younger, you're not able to do that certain hobby like you did it when you were younger, you must know that things like that, things that are holding you, that are pausing you, that are making you look down on yourself, on the way your mind works, on your smartness and your creativity, things that are making you look down on yourself, those are all distractions, sabotages coming from the side, trying to make you stop with your assignment, trying to make you think that your assignment is not big enough to continue, trying to make you think that your assignment doesn't mean anything to God. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything that is in your heart, God has placed there because it is going to help you reach that success that He is planted in your life, right? So small thing, big thing, sabotage is big, big threat, small threat. Don't allow those things to get into your mind. Don't allow them to stop your project. If you know that your project is from the Creator and it has been placed in your heart, then you must carry it out until the end. So thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for Bible studying with me. If you have other points and things that you have picked up from the whole book of Ezra, from the scripture, please do put it down in the comments. I do love seeing other people's takes and ideas on certain scriptures. We all, perceive the things differently, and it's very nice to see. So please do talk about it, and please do hit that thumbs up, that subscribe button, and that bell so that you get a notification for the next video. Thank you so much for watching Cat's Christian Life. Bye.